Hey there, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. So today we're going to be installing the throwout bearing on my Project Jeep 1992 Jeep Wrangler YJ. We are in the middle of a clutch replacement as this clutch on this project was totally worn out. And here is our new throwout bearing, clutch, pressure plate, release bearing, whatever you want to call it. This one fits the 1987 through 1993 Jeep Wrangler YJ with the internal slave cylinder. And this video is all part of a series where I remove the transmission on this, pull the clutch, put the new clutch back in. Now we're on to the throwout bearing. Then the final video will be installing the transmission. So that video series is linked in the description below, along with a new throwout bearing. So as I mentioned, this is the throwout bearing and internal slave cylinder. We've got a couple hydraulic lines coming off of here. We'll get those hooked up in the transmission installation video. We have a couple straps on the side here, one on each side. Leave those in place. We don't want to break those loose. They're going to break loose on their own. After this is installed and you push on the clutch for the first time, it'll break those loose, engaging the throwout bearing. So your throwout bearing right here mates up against the fingers on your clutch. And here is our old throwout bearing, and you can see the straps here. They're broken loose, our hydraulic lines back there. So this is the input shaft to the transmission, and the throwout bearing and slave cylinder sits over the top of that. And right down here at the base, there's a little pin right here. We're going to pop that little cover off right there and slide this whole unit off. So the end of your transmission input shaft, this fits right into the back of the clutch, into the crankshaft. So the throwout bearing right here, when you push on the clutch, this whole thing moves forward. I can't do it by hand, but this whole thing comes forward and pushes on the fingers here of our new clutch. So it pushes these fingers in, which releases the diaphragm of the clutch and frees up the clutch. Now out the back side of the transmission right here, our hydraulic lines come right outside the back side of the transmission there. And there's my hydraulic line that runs up to the clutch master cylinder. So if you need help getting up to this point where the transmission's out, you have access to the throwout bearing, it's all disconnected, be sure to check out my video on removing the transmission. I show you how to disconnect those hydraulic lines and drop the transmission. So let's pull this old one out here. Just pop that little retaining washer off. And the whole assembly just slides right out. I've got this rubber bushing up here I gotta pull it out of. And we'll slide our new unit in place here. Making sure this little tab down here engages the pin. And push our little snap ring on. I cleaned up our little rubber bushing here. Snap this over the hydraulic lines and pop it in place. I guess that'd be more of a rubber dust cover than anything. Because bushing, what defines a bushing? There we go, new slave cylinder throwout bearing is installed. So yeah, this one is the internal slave cylinder, 87 through 93. Let me show you on my 94 Wrangler what the external slave cylinder, which is really nice. Actually, a lot of people do a conversion where they take that internal slave cylinder, put it on the outside, because if you ever have issues with your slave cylinder, you gotta drop the transmission on these 87 through 93. A big pain. Here we go, 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ with a 4-liter. And there's my transmission, AX15, with the slave cylinder right there, just bolted up to the housing. So there we go, the difference between 87 through 93 with the internal slave cylinder versus 94 and later having that external slave cylinder. Super handy. So be sure to catch me on my next video right up here. So transmission installation will be coming up next. Thank you guys for watching and have a good day.